Hello everyone, UC Campbell here, and we're going to go over Monday Night Raw for April 10th, 2011. I'm going to have my notes right here so I can make sure I don't really forget anything, so bear with me if I start looking down at the notes every now and again just to make sure I get what I want to say properly done. First of all, I'm going to go off and say it wasn't a bad show. Nothing overly great happened, but nothing too awful happened in the show, outside of a very big surprise that I'll get to at the end of the video. But let's go off to the opening of Raw. The opening of Raw was a segment starring John Cena, Randy Orton, John Morrison, R-Truth, and Dolph Ziggler. Of course, all five of them want to go after the WWE title, starting off with John Cena. And it just led to everyone eventually coming out, making their own case to be the #1 contender for the WWE title at the next pay-per-view, Extreme Rules. The Raw GM chimes in, and of course you're going to get him, and of course Michael Cole's going to be the one answering it. Like him, hate him, he's going to be the one talking most of the show. More on that a little bit later. But the Raw GM essentially makes a gauntlet match with all five competitors for the end of the night. The last person standing would be the #1 contender for the WWE title. After a commercial break, they were showing a vignette for Awesome Kong, and it looks like they're going to be bringing her in here very soon. And obviously, it looks like they're gonna book her as the person who will be destroying every diva around. Not that it wouldn't be that surprising to begin with, anyway. Which led into the actual Divas title match that was next. It was Brie Bella versus Eve Torres. Once again, it was I guess what you would consider your typical Divas match. It was a little spotty at times. Nothing really messed up in the match, and nothing great, though, that they showed on TV. Then again, most of the times they only get 3 or 4 minutes anyways. What can you do with that kind of time? You can't show too much. The ending of the match was essentially the Bellas attempting to pull their twin magic. Eve saw it, got her out, but it didn't help her anyway. The distraction was good enough for Brie to hit her finisher, get the pin, and win the title. It also ended up showing a backstage segment with Eve, essentially discussing that all the Divas seem to be the same and all they really care about is going after the Divas title, which honestly that's what they should be doing, but they have no camaraderie with each other to attempt to do anything. It just seems like everyone's for themselves and no one cares. And honestly, this will be interesting to see when Awesome Kong comes in and her just destroying everyone that gets in her path. Next we saw on the screen was Sin Cara about making his way to the ring for his in-ring debut. Sin Cara, welcome to Raw, welcome to Botchamania. The match was great. Him and Primo were doing a great job. It was all fine until the finish when he was going for a C4 off the top rope. He messed up the first time. Essentially, Primo fell on the rope, sending him outside the ring. And well, that's what happens sometimes when you get live television. You will get mess ups. Thankfully, he got up, redid the spot, and honestly, the maneuver looks awesome. I hope WWE does not think too badly of what happened in his first match. He has been a little spotty from the beginning, but you're going to take that when you're getting a high-risk guy like that. He's going to mess up every now and again. Sin Cara, or Mystico as people know him from the Mexican Star, is a great wrestler and hopefully will have a great future in the WWE here very soon. Now, like I said, I would be getting to the Michael Cole thing again. Honestly, I thought this would end at WrestleMania. And just have King destroy him, take the win, and then we might not see him for a while. Obviously, I was wrong. And he's talking more smack than ever. Now, it leads into a match, again, with Jack Swagger and Jerry the King Lawler. And this time, if Swagger wins, Cole never has to deal with King again. And if King wins, he gets a match of any kind at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Back and forth action once again. Eventually it leads that Michael Cole actually distracts Jack Swagger into getting pinned by Jerry King Lawler, leading to a match that they will have at the pay-per-view. Match essentially being King and JR versus Swagger and Cole. I don't really get it. I mean, you only have one full-time wrestler, and I can see why Cole's in there, but do we really need JR in this match? You can't make it a handicap match, or potentially get someone else different to team up with King for this one type of match. Also, at this point in time, we have no stipulation for the match. Now, that will probably come in the next coming weeks. Who knows? Essentially, I'm going to lead into the main event now. I'll save the something for the surprising part for the last part of what I'm talking about. Main event being the gauntlet match, and Miz is on commentary, and in rare form once again. Miz is great on the mic. He's a great heel. It's one of the reasons why I like him. He's great at making you hate him at all times, and that's what he does. He does his job great. It starts off with Randy Orton versus Dolph Ziggler, and as the match is going back and forth, it looks like Orton's going to take the first fall and go on to the next opponent, but the new Nexus comes out, distracts him, and gives Dolph Ziggler the win with a roll-up. And afterwards, giving Dolph Ziggler a little bit of a break because of the factor that New Nexus is beating him up. We get McGillicuddy, Otunga, and Mason Ryan back in there. It looks like there's going to be something going with CM Punk and Orton following the WrestleMania match after all. Leading into the second match, which was R-Truth versus Dolph Ziggler. And nothing crazy special here. I think the whole build-up for this spot in the pay-per-view, was to make R-Truth look as strong as possible for the ending, of course. And Dolph Ziggler just simply loses this match, making Vicky Guerrero go completely insane. It's weird the fact that that an announcer and a manager have the two biggest heel heats in the entire company at this time. But leading into the next match, which was John Morrison and R-Truth once again, and it just simply leads to the factor of, obviously, Morrison has pissed off some people in the WWE for the time being with his comments and his treatment of Trish Stratus during their whole WrestleMania time. And it looks like it's going to push him back for a period of time. Who knows how long that will be, or if it will be a permanent stay that he'll be a mid-carder forever. But it essentially led to Morrison having R-Truth down. He went for Starship Pain, missed it. Truth hit his finisher, got the 1-2-3, and went on to the final match, which was him and John Cena. And honestly, here is a spot where Cena makes a lot of people look good. A lot of people wonder if he's actually very good in the ring. He's great with ring psychology and making people look better than they actually are. And he made R-Truth look extremely good. And the build-up for him, and the build-up for the entire purpose of that, match was to make him go through a couple guys and then have to face Cena. And Cena did great back and forth with R-Truth, and it looked like Cena was going to pull out the victory, but The Miz and Alex Riley decided to get off commentary at that time and cause a double disqualification, causing the Raw GM to get back into to chime in once again. This time, King answering it, and essentially Miz said there's no #1 contender now, but the Raw GM agreed. But he agreed to the aspect that there wasn't one #1 contender, there were two, leading into a triple threat match at Extreme Rules with R-Truth, John Cena, and The Miz for the WWE title. Once again, no actual stipulation was added to the match. I hope there's something else added outside of the fact that it's just a triple threat. But who knows what's going to happen with that one. Which for the surprising aspect of Monday Night Raw, I'm going to finish off with. And that was Edge's, it seemed to be out of nowhere retirement. Obviously, within the company and with himself, they saw it coming. but the fans didn't really see it coming. He came out, and probably one of his had to have been the hardest moment in his career, which was on live television announcing his retirement from the business of wrestling, or WWE, or sports entertainment, however you want to go with it. It was a great send-off speech for him. He did a great job, and he'll be sorely missed, obviously, within the backstage of the company and the fans themselves. I will miss him. I'll miss his work, and I'll miss how he was on the mic. I don't know the man personally, so I don't know if I would miss him as a person. But he did great in-ring work, and he will be sorely missed on weekly television. I'll be glad to see him in one-offs. Hopefully he'll be doing those. Obviously not in the near future, but somewhere within a year or two he'll be doing one-offs where he'll show up every now and again. Edge, you'll be missed. Thank you for your time that you spent. I got to see you. I've been a wrestling fan for God knows how long. I'm 27 years old. And as far as I can remember, I've watched wrestling. So I saw you from day one. You were great. You'll be missed. Thank you for your time. And thank you for all the entertaining segments, matches, and moments that you've given us. Thank you, Edge.